Hello, hello guys. Welcome to the second video of Grind 75. So now we'll be solving the second question of Grind 75, which is valid parenthesis, where we must tell if the parentheses, string of parentheses are valid or no. So we'll be given a string of just three types of characters. One is parenthesis, one is curly brackets, and one is square brackets. We should tell if the string is valid or not. So how do we know if a string is valid or no? So first rule is they must be closed by the same type of brackets. So if we have a opening parenthesis, then the closing also must be a parenthesis. And the open and close must be in the correct order. So if we have a opening parenthesis and we have a closed parenthesis, that is when our string is valid. If we have a closed and next an open, it is not valid. And the same rule. Every closed bracket should have a corresponding open bracket. Yeah, that's the same thing. So how are we going to solve this? So we can solve this using a stack. So how do we solve this using a stack? So we basically will have, we're having two test cases. We will be having a stack. Uh, at first, if the stack is empty, we'll just push the first element. Okay. Now we write a if condition that if the top of our stack is an opening bracket of the same type and our current element is a closing element of the same type, we'll just pop the element. As we move forward, we'll be understanding the test case. And if it is not, we'll just upload the uh, character inside it. That's all. That will be our approach. So first, in this case, is this parenthesis, open parenthesis. And the next element is not a closing parenthesis. So we'll be pushing a curly bracket inside. So next we go and we see we get a square square bracket. So if we read inside. Now now our stack of now our top of the stack is a square bracket. And our current element is a closing square bracket. So what happens is we pop out this square bracket. Yeah. So the square bracket is popped. Now we see that we have a closing curly braces and our stack stop is a closing uh, it's a closing curly braces. So we pop out the next element. And next we see for the last element that is a closing parenthesis and stack top is an opening parenthesis. So we pop out the last element too. Now by the end of the string, we get the stack to be empty. So an empty stack represents that the parenthesis is a valid one, or else it represents that it is not valid. Now, if we see for the second test case, this is a opening. This is a opening square bracket. The next element is a closing curly bracket. So the stack is not empty. So this will be returning false. So this is what we'll be coding over here. So first, now we initialize a stack where we store character values, and then we start a for loop. Let's start n time plus plus. So this gives us the time complexity of n. So yeah, the first rule is if our tag is empty. Before that, we should keep the track of the current element. So character, we'll let's tell it p or character current is equal to uh, the ith element. So if it is empty, we'll just push it into the stack current. And now we write a test case. Else if the stack dot top is opening parenthesis, and our current element is a closing parenthesis. We pop out the element. One more, another else if condition. We're just gonna alt shift down. We're gonna replace this with this, and this with this with this, and this with this. Yeah, we're gonna keep popping it out. And not, if none of that is the, which means it's the stack is not empty, and it's none of these conditions are being passed. We just push it inside. Yeah. Yeah. Now we must check uh, return st dot, or else we can tell it like if our stack is empty, return true, or return false. Oh, we have an error. Oh, we- we- this is how we check for yeah, yeah. So yeah, this is the most optimal solution. Thank you.